Yeah, I think two good teams. We knew going in. I definitely think they're one of the best teams we played this year. Especially in their belief and their confidence. You saw that in the end. They didn't give in, and they pulled a goal out and kind of made it interesting. I do think the score is a lot tighter than the actual game went. We were pretty comfy overall in the match. We controlled large periods of the match. We had a lot of chances. At 2-0, we could have easily gotten the third, the fourth, but this is football. And that's one of the things we always talk about, when you least expect it, you have a storm, you have something that pops up and the game changes. And that's exactly what happened. They get a goal out of nothing, good play on their part, cross and, running the box with Lod, good finish. And now all of a sudden the game, changes. We go from being 2-0, could be 3-0 and comfy, to now it's nervy, and I'm just real pleased that we were able to still grind out the 3 points. And mostly I'm very, very pleased with our attack. Our defending has gotten a lot of talk, and yet I think quietly we're becoming one of the best attacking teams in the league. You saw that on the first goal. It's one of the best team goals we've scored this year. Unbelievable sequence, a lot of control in the front half, which is a phase of play we always work on and talk about, and just the purpose, in that phase of how we broke them down. We've improved a lot in that area, and it certainly helps to have Lucas Zelarayan in. What a great finish. Great ball by Pedro as well. So I thought we were excellent today in the attack, scored 2 great goals, should have scored more. And I think that's the story today. Our attack really carried us on the day to get those 3 points.
Thank you, Caleb. Up next, we'll go to Jacob Myers, followed by Patrick. And if I could ask our panelists to please look into the monitor in front of you when you answer the question. Jacob, go ahead.
Caleb, we talked a lot in the preseason and several times since the restart about just how you were going to keep Pedro and Lucas working well together, keep them both creative. Was today kind of what you envisioned, how both players could be creative how they want and they continue to create chances throughout the match?
They were excellent. Pedro and Lucas together, we're starting to see that chemistry gel. They're both very creative players. They're very technical. They're fun to watch, and they definitely are a real key to how we attack. Obviously Luis Diaz as well, and Giassi, that front four, when you put it all together the right way, you get great pace and power from Luis. He got in great spots. He opened the game up, the width and, the length, which is really important. And that sets up the space, for Pedro and Lucas to be able to work those pockets in front of the back four, be clever, creative. And, Lucas on that one that he hit the crossbar, he pulled that off. That's another, up for goal of the year. I just love his individual creativity off the dribble, his IQ, his understanding of when to keep the ball and when to play killer passes. And Pedro, he's full of life right now, and it couldn't come at a better time. These two guys are really, really playing well.
Thank you, Caleb. Up next, we'll go to Patrick Murphy and then Dylan.
Lucas, similar question. Just when Pedro was able to do some of the things he did tonight, tuck into the pocket and also play out wide, how much does that open up your game to kind of roam the midfield and create and score goals like you did tonight?
Lucas, la pregunta fue, cuando Pedro juega de la manera en la que jugó hoy, haciendo espacio, jugando centralmente, pero también jugando a la izquierda, ¿qué es lo que te da la oportunidad de hacer a ti?
Bueno, sin duda es algo que hablamos mucho con Pedro, de buscar cada uno el espacio. A veces él se cierra y yo juego abierto. Vamos intercambiando posiciones y así encontramos mucho más espacio, tanto él como yo. Es un jugador con el que cada vez me entiendo mejor y disfruto jugar con él. Así que la verdad que estoy muy feliz en el partido de hoy porque pudimos hacer ambos un gol cada uno y nos estamos sintiendo cada vez mejor.
It's something we talk a lot about in training. We talk about making up space. We're able to open up space for one another. And when we are able to do that, we make each other better. Tonight, I'm happy that we were both able to get a goal each. And as a whole, I thought we were able to help a team. Up next, we'll go with Dylan, and then we'll go with Jared Molly.
Caleb, congratulations on the win. Two quick ones for you. The number 30 in terms of points at this juncture of the season, how significant is that for you guys as a goal? And secondly, you and all coaches really are kind of perfectionists. The way the game ended, where you had to suffer a little bit, were you disappointed with that?
Yeah, I'll answer the second question first. Yeah, I think, you took the words right out of my mouth. The first thing I said to the group is, it's my job to always want more. And, that wanting more is the belief that I have in my team, never satisfied. And I think there's much more still for this group to do. And certainly we can keep playing better and we can keep learning, so I think we definitely leave with a little bit of edge, knowing that, we should have been 3-4 and game to bed, and yet I do know in football that, these things happen and it's important to just be ready for those things. And we didn't lose the game. We didn't concede to, lose 2 points or lose the game. It was close, but he was definitely offsides on the call. I looked at that as well. So, so it wasn't a goal, obviously. But, yeah, we can keep improving. I think the best thing is you want your attack to be loose and feeling good. And I love it when my backs are pissed off. So, a lot of times it's the opposite. And I think it's actually been the opposite, in a few games where your attack is tense and your backs are too loose because they're feeling really confident. And I don't want my backs to be loose at all. I want them to be, really, really angry. I want them to want to, like after Chicago, show everybody, that giving up goals is not acceptable. And I want my attackers to be free. I want them to love their football. I want them to be creative. I want those little, juices to be flowing, and I think that's right where we're at right now. So I think it's perfect.
Thank you, Caleb. Up next, we'll go to George Molly, then Ori, and then Jacob. And if you'd like a question after that, please raise your hand.
All right, Caleb, hi. A question for you. You mentioned earlier the attack and the impression they made on you tonight in particular. When you look at what Giassi has done this season, the way Pedro has come on, had a phenomenal few games here, and then when you have Lucas fit in the lineup, ready to go, can you just describe the way that those three in particular stress a defense and what you're starting to see materialize from opponents? The problems they're having to try to match up when you can put all those guys out there.
Yeah, I think you saw in the attack the balance, where you in any attacking system, you have to have balance in how you open up the opponent. And it doesn't work without Luis Diaz, his pace and power stretching the line. It doesn't work without Lucas's IQ in unlocking teams with final passes and off the dribble. It doesn't work with Pedro without Pedro being kind of that second playmaker who can play in and out. And what I like about Pedro is he can play in the pocket, but also when he pulls out, he can serve from the left side with that left foot. So we still get width from him. And then obviously it doesn't work without our outside backs, bombing on and getting around. And I thought Milton was excellent today in the attack, and Harry. And certainly it doesn't work unless you have two midfielders. We're missing D a little bit. You can see the rhythm of how we play, maybe the control. We're losing a little bit of that. But I tell you what, Artur, I thought was quietly man of the match in a lot of ways. He was a machine today, and really got around the park. And I think he did the work for two guys because, without Darlington, we're always going to miss him, his range. And so Artur's having to do even more. And I thought he was incredible today.
Thank you, Caleb. Next is Ori. Ori, if you could let us know who you're addressing the question to, and then go ahead.
Questions for Caleb. Caleb, one thing I noticed in the first half, you guys weren't giving up kicks or corners, and Minnesota is kind of known as a team that is very good at set pieces. Is that something you drilled into your guys preparing into the game to try and not give up any free kicks in dangerous areas?
Yeah, absolutely. And I wasn't happy. We'll rewatch the end of the game, but I thought we gave up, too many fouls at the end of the game, and you're giving them a bite at the apple late, and I just think we have to be disciplined and move our feet a little bit better. But definitely, we pretty much said and game plan for two moments where they could hurt us. And the first one's transition. We knew we'd have the ball. So I thought we were excellent in managing the counterattack. And then the second one was restarts, set pieces, and dead balls. So we said, no, let's not give them any unnecessary fouls. But the best way to manage a team that's good on set pieces is to just keep the ball in the front half. Don't let them get near your goal and don't foul. And so I thought we did that. We had really good control, I thought, on the day. And listen, last time we played these guys, we weren't able to break them down. And so I'm really pleased when you look at our team now versus then, how much we've improved. We're much more clean and clear in how we're breaking teams down. And we should be, because we've had a lot of practice at it. Most teams are dropping off in a low block and basically, saying, try to beat us. And I think right now we're showing that's not going to work. We're going to find ways to break you down. And it's not easy to do, to break down 10 guys. But these guys are finding ways to do it. And we work on it a lot. We work on our patterns of play. We work on our ideas. We work on making sure that we're not predictable and that we can unlock the opponent in different ways. But let's be honest, you unlock an opponent with good players, and Lucas and Pedro and Giassi and these guys, they're just very good individually.
Thank you, Caleb. As we begin to wrap up our post-match press conference, we'll go Jacob, Murphy, then Paul Tenorio. And if you would like the question after that, please raise your hand.
This question's for Artur. Last time you guys played Minnesota, Caleb did touch on this. You guys created a lot. The last passes weren't there. Tonight, it seemed like the ball from your feet and on the outside backs, the wings, it was just moving very quickly. I want your impressions on how much better and crisp the movement of the offense has been, and then also your impressions on Pedro's goal.
I think we did well what we've been practicing, which is move the ball side to side quick. And since we have good players in the middle offensively, they're gonna close it. So we gotta switch the game fast, and we're gonna find the spaces. So I think we just try to do that, and I think every time we did that well, we created something. So I just think that was good for us in the first half, and obviously in the second half they tried to manage that a little bit more. But also I think Pedro's goal was amazing. Like individual play, that's what we need sometimes, because the team drop lower to try to block us, to defend us, because we keep the ball. And sometimes we gotta make plays. So I think he did very, very well that, and also the assist and everything. I think it's being we have a good balance now. We have Lucas back and Pedro and Luis Diaz and Jazzy. So I think they are all sharing the responsibility to create something, and I think it's a very good balance for us.
Thank you, Artur. Next we go to Pat Murphy.
Artur, similar question to Jacob, but you have kind of a front row seat to this attacking four that you just talked about. When they're playing like this and you're able to just kind of handle things in the midfield, how much easier does that make your job? And then how much better does that make you guys as a team when everything's kind of clicking like it was in the first half?
I think, like I said now, when I do my job well, to try to build up and find them, and they do their job well to be open in the space, to find the space, and also keep the ball, it's just very good for the whole team. I think it's make it easier for us having good players in the top to find the spaces and keep the ball, and it makes a difference for us that we want to play, want to build up, and create something, play a good football, good soccer, and I think it's just very good overall.
Thank you, Artur. Our next question goes to Paul Tenorio from The Athletic. Paul, go ahead.
This one's for Caleb. How you doing, Caleb?
Paul.
How are you?
Good.
And I was noticing, obviously, you've been willing to throw younger players into big moments all season long. Putting Sebastian in as a first half sub tonight, another example of it. Abubakar's played, Aiden's played. You look around the league, that seems to be a trend of younger players getting more opportunities and more minutes. What's your take on that trend? Is it just chalked up to schedule congestion creates more opportunity, more subs create more opportunity? And if it's more than that, what does it mean about the growth of the league and what this could be as a trend for MLS?
Yeah, great question. I can only speak for myself, and how I look at it. I think if you build your roster in the right way, you have to have a blend of experience and youth. Obviously, for the simple reason that you need succession planning, and also to execute the way that we play, you need energy, and young guys bring that. I've never been a lover of playing young guys just to play them. For me, I want to find young guys that are good enough to play, not just play them because you want to, tell everybody you're playing young guys. At the end of the day, my job's to win games, and whether I win with 30-year-olds or 20-year-olds, it doesn't matter. I have to win games. But I think if you're doing your job right, you should always have a nice blend of experienced players and young players. And I like that in my teams. But the ones that play for us, they only play because they're good enough. And I really like it when I have youngsters play, because I do think, even though my job's to win games, that I have a responsibility as an American coach to make sure that young players come through. And I'm pleased that the young players we're playing are homegrown crew players, and that makes me very proud, because I want to give these guys a chance. And I don't think there's enough young American players getting a chance. And college guys are coming in not playing, and so it's going to be the homegrown guys. So it makes me, proud to give these guys the start to their careers. But they also have to perform. They have to perform. And, the coaches that, are known for playing young guys and lose games, that doesn't do them any good. So you still got to win.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. And then for our final three questions, we'll go with Ori, Jacob, and Pat.
This question's for Lucas. Lucas, now you guys are going to kind of hit sort of a road stretch. You only have 2 home games from now until October 24th. Obviously, you guys have been fantastic at home, but haven't gotten a win in your last 3 road games. I'm kind of curious, from your perspective for the attack and for the rest of the team, how are you guys going to be able to take, the strength of playing at home into all these road games as you guys get closer and closer to the end of the season?
Lucas, la pregunta fue, acabamos de terminar de jugar varios partidos en casa y ahora viene una racha de juegos de visitante. ¿Cómo crees que el equipo puede llevar a cabo, puede ejecutar el mismo tipo de juego que juega en casa en los próximos partidos que va a tener de visitante?
Bueno, sin duda que jugar en casa nos sentimos mucho más cómodos, nos gusta y creo que nos hemos hecho muy fuertes acá, pero bueno, tenemos que tratar de mantener el juego, el ritmo, de seguir trabajando y de mantener lo que venimos haciendo en casa fuera, ¿no? Obviamente se viene una seguidilla de partidos visitantes, tenemos que mentalizarnos que van a ser partidos muy difíciles y que, como dije, tratar de seguir trabajando como lo venimos haciendo y tratar de mantener eso es lo más importante, mantener el juego que venimos haciendo, que lo venimos haciendo muy bien y ojalá que se den bien los partidos.
We enjoy playing at home. We're very strong at home, and this is something that we know. And what we need to do is maintain that rhythm and continue to play in that same way when we're on the road. As you mentioned, there is a stretch of matches on the road that are coming, but what we need to do is just continue to work hard, and keep doing what we're doing and do it well. Right, up next, we go to Jacob.
Questions for Caleb. Just an update, if you have one, on Fatai. What is the status of his injury? And then kind of similar to Lori's question, 6 of the next 8 games are on the road. How confident are you after watching tonight just in this team in general? I think we have seen over the past several games that the offense has trended in the direction you want.
Yeah, points are points. You know, for me, I look at home and away. It shouldn't be a big change. It's only in the psychology of how you think and how obviously the home team thinks. Typically had good teams on the road. We've been pretty steady on the road so far this year. You know, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be weird. We're playing Toronto and Hartford, so it's more of a neutral game, I think, than anything. And so, you know, it won't be like playing at Montfrey, that's for sure, but, you know, it will be a little bit more like playing in the MLS's back tournament because it'll be a neutral, more of a neutral site. But, yeah, we got to go and grind, and obviously in the playoffs, we're going to have some hopefully home games, but, you know, we're going to need to win on the road at some point unless we're the number 1 seed, you know, going into the playoffs.
Anything on Fatai?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's probably got a little strain. You're seeing that every team in the league is banged up. I mean, you look at Minnesota, the amount of guys they had injured, and ourselves. And I think we all knew this going into these compacted games that everybody was going to be taking injuries, and, you know, it's unfortunate. But the good news is we have depth. And I think it's pretty incredible that, you know, we can keep doing what we're doing with, you know, Darlington out the last 3 games. He's a big player for us. So I'm proud that we keep rolling, and I think this team is very hungry, and we've got guys that can play, and we're going to need them to play this next game. I want to show my cards, but we're going to have to keep our eye on this group, because right now, you know, we got to make sure we're not injured when we get to the end of the year. So we're going to have to rotate at some point.
Thank you, Caleb. And then for our final question, we go to Pat Murphy.
Caleb, the end of game celebration with the Nordeck, the wise men say, is becoming quite a little thing for you guys and around the league. Tonight, especially, you seemed pretty juiced up after the team kind of walked away. Talk about just that celebration and you guys being able to celebrate with the fans, even though there's only a few of them, and tonight, your emotions specifically.
Yeah, I'm having the time of my life right now, honestly, with this group. You know, it's my 7th year in the league. It's, you know, my 20th year total coaching. Not one of the young coaches anymore. I'm old guy that's been through, wars and battles, and, I'm loving this group. I really am. As much as any team I've had, in my career. And they just give me life. They give me energy. Excited waking up every day. I love their mentality. I love, it's everything I want in my team. I want a team that can attack. I want a team that will defend. I want a team that will fight. I want a team that's humble. And, I'm just real happy when I made that decision to come to Columbus, that I did, because there's a lot of exciting things ahead. And, I love this group, and we're only going to get better. So, yeah, when I'm passionate, and I think it's no coincidence, when I really like my team, I do a better job too, and and I'm a passionate guy, and that's what I was showing at the end of the game. I mean, 30 points after 13 games. I don't know where that stacks up, but that's a lot of points.
Thank you, Caleb. This is going to conclude tonight's post-match media availability. Thank you